Onitsha Head Bridge was a very bustling market located at the eastern part of Nigeria. This particular market was known as a place where different drugs were sold, both fake and original. Among all the traders in this market was a very wealthy man known as Mr. James. Mr. James was one of the rich men in the market who deals in malaria medicine. He was a distributor of one of the malaria drugs that was moving very well in the market. Mr. James had two brothers, but ever since he sent them outside the country to study, none of them came back again. After the death of his beloved wife, who died of breast cancer, he sent two of his children over to his brothers in the USA. With his money, traveling to the USA was like going to the lavatory for him. He visited and spent so much time with his children, took part in everything they did, and shared his business growth with them. He continued to live a fulfilled and beautiful life, juggling and dividing his time between Nigeria and the USA. But something happened one evening. It was around market closing time when Mr. James' manager entered inside Mr. James' office. Behold, Mr. James' face was pressed on the office table. The manager, known as John, stood at the doorway calling his name, but he didn't answer. At first John thought he was sleeping, but then he needed to tell him that the market was about to close. So John moved closely and tapped on his shoulder, but he didn't move. Frightened, John pushed him and Mr. James' still body fell on the floor. John screamed in a high tone and other boys in the shop rushed into the office. But then it was already late. Mr. James had joined his ancestors while sitting quietly in his office. Whatever that happened to him, no one knows. John put a call across to Mr. Brothers, telling them the ugly incident. They all cried, and a few weeks later Mr. James' body was laid to rest. After the burial, John took over the business. In front of Mr. James' brothers, John was handling the business so well, not just as a manager, but like the owner. He sent money to them at the end of every month, and they were happy with the revenue except Jennifer, Mr. James' daughter. Jennifer sat on the couch inside the luxurious sitting room. Two of her uncles were sitting by the side. Her brother sat across. They were all staring at her, waiting for her to talk. "Jennifer, you said that you wanted to talk to us. What's it?" her elder brother, David, asked, and Jennifer nodded her head, smiling. Jennifer adjusted in her seat, swept her gaze across the sitting room. Then she let the words out. "I want to go back to Nigeria." "What? Why?" one of her uncles asked. "You are not serious. Go back to Nigeria to do what?" Another of her uncles added. "To manage our dad's business." Jennifer replied. "Uncle, I think we have a manager doing that in Nigeria," David asked. But before his uncle could reply, Jennifer began to talk again. "I know that we have a manager, but I want to go back home. If David doesn't want to go back, I will go." "Don't even call my name Jennifer. Going back to Nigeria to do what, exactly?" David grumbled. "David, it is okay," one of their uncles said, and turned to Jennifer. "Jennifer, do you think that it is easy to manage business? That business not easy at all." "Uncle, what are you saying? Have you forgotten that I did business administration?" "Jennifer, you don't understand. It is not about business administration. It is about how selfish our people are. If you go back now, John will frustrate your life in that market until you lose everything that your father worked for. I think we should allow him to manage it." "And who is John?" "John is the manager. He had been your father's manager before his death, and he had been doing well." "I have a plan," Jennifer said. Her uncles and her brother listened as she began to explain her plans. She told her uncle to put a call across to the manager. Then her uncle should tell the manager that one of his friend's daughters was in need of a job, and he would want the manager to provide a job for the girl. Additionally, he should also tell the manager to provide a house for the poor girl. "And who is the poor girl in this picture?" David questioned. "Me," Jennifer replied. "I don't want anyone to know who I am. I want to enter into the market as an ordinary salesgirl. I will reveal myself when I learn everything concerning the business." "You are not serious," David laughed, but Jennifer was serious. She knew what she wanted and how to get them. She also knew that going inside the market as her father's daughter would make the manager steal everything that her father left behind. She had thought about everything before summoning them for discussion. "You think you can cope with that kind of life? You think it is that easy?" David chided her. "It won't be easy, but I am ready. I will do it." After a series of back and forth, they agreed to do what Jennifer wanted. After all, she was going back to manage her father's business. David told them that he would never step foot in Nigeria because of any business. He was okay with the money he was making where he was. Their uncles supported their every decision. John was inside his office when he received a call from one of Mr. James' brothers. After the death of Mr. James, he had occupied Mr. James' office, treating other apprentices who came to the shop before him like nothing. "Good afternoon, sir," John greeted like a good man. That was how he deceived them all. "Good afternoon, John. How is business going? I hope it is moving fine." "Yes, sir. We are managing." "Okay, see why I called you. A daughter of a friend of mine is in Onitsha right now. She is looking for a job, and I want you to offer her one in the shop." "Sir, did you say your friend?" "Not really, John. This man was our gardener before the death of our parents. So after the death of my parents, he moved back to the village with his family. Please help his daughter. Give her a job in the office and also find accommodation for her." "Yes, sir. But sir, what of her salary and house rent?" "I don't know. John, you know the best amount to pay her. That won't affect the company's revenue. Please give her the job because I don't want to talk to the father again. She will be coming by the weekend. And again, you can take her to live with you people in the house if you want." "Yes, sir. Greet Oga children for me." Immediately, John hung up the call. He danced around the office with great enthusiasm. That was another way to make money. After all, he said that he should pay her whatever he wanted. The next day, John was checking some goods when the senior apprentice told him that a girl was looking for him. Instantly, John knew who the girl would be. He wiped his palms on a small towel and went to see the girl. She was a very beautiful and charming girl. She stood with her black bag astride by her side. She was busy sweeping her eyes across the big shop when John came out. "They said that you were looking for me. How may I help you?" John questioned, his face a kind of moody. "Yes, sir. My name is Jenny. My father sent me here to see you." "Are you the daughter of the gardener?" he asked with an air of authority and pride. "Yes, sir." Jenny nodded. John waved to the senior apprentice and asked him to show the girl the way around the shop. Jenny was taught how to write invoices and how to count goods. That same day, John screamed at her like more than 1,000 times. She watched the way he was screaming and yelling at everyone in the shop, the way he was making calls like the real owner of the shop. Jenny's stomach tightened as she looked at how the so-called manager was behaving. So rude and arrogant. It was exactly around 1 p.m. that he told one of the apprentices to go and show Jenny where they used to buy food for him. He made it clear to Jenny that he didn't eat food anyhow, or anywhere, especially in the market. His food would always come from that place, or else the person that bought it will face punishment. As usual, Jenny nodded in agreement. When the time of closing the market reached, John told Jenny that he had not made any accommodation arrangements for her. Therefore, she would be staying with him in his family house. On reaching home, Jenny was surprised to see that John and his family had packed into their home. Then she remembered that one of her uncles asked him to pack in. After all, no one was interested in that house. And instead of leaving it lonely, I was better someone occupied it. John's mother sat on a couch, her 2 legs placed on the table and her eyes fixed on the television. She was chewing an apple. 2 of his sisters sat on another couch, eating fruits. They were all surprised when John came in with Jenny. "Who is this?" his mother asked, after replying to Jenny's greetings. "Her name is Jenny, our new sales girl." John replied. "So what's she doing here? Doesn't she have a home?" The woman asked angrily. "Mum, wait. I think we also need her here. I was asked to find accommodation for her, but I thought about what we discussed last night. Instead of employing another maid, why not allow her to stay here with us?" John narrated. His words hit Jenny in the stomach like a punch. That wasn't what he told her earlier. Now he was about to use her as a maid in her own father's house. How could some people be so cruel? Jenny swallowed hard and pretended to be all right. The woman turned to Jenny with a dreadful look. "Go and ask other apprentices. I don't like anyone who is sluggish. You must do your work diligently, or I will send you back to where you come from," she said harshly and dismissed Jenny out of her presence. One of John's sisters took Jenny to a guest room. The room was in the same line with that of the apprentice's room. From her room, She could hear some of the things the boys were discussing. The way they all abhorred John and his family. He remembered the time her father built the bungalow. It was the first place they lived before he built the bigger mansion. Then after building the mansion, all the workers in their house took over the bungalow. Jenny lay on the bed so exhausted. It had been a hectic day, and all she wanted was nothing but rest. She had worked her ass out in the shop, from moving to one warehouse to the other, running from one bank to another. It was the highest day she had worked in the shop. Exhausted but excited. She loved it. It was an avenue to know some of her father's warehouses and bank accounts. She loved the fact that John had started sending her more to the bank, instead of the cashier. From going to the bank every day, she had met some bankers, asked different questions that opened her eyes more and more. "Jenny, what are you doing inside?" Jenny heard from outside. She sprang up and opened the door. It was John's immediate younger sister standing on the doorway. Jenny stretched her frame and yawned. "Cover that your smelling mouth when you are yawning. Do you want to infect me with a disease?" The girl said with a wave of her palm. Jenny scanned the girl from head to toes and gave out a silent nod. "What's it?" Jenny finally asked. She was so tired that even standing at the door was like a torture to her body. "You are asking me what? Are we not going to eat tonight?" "Meaning?" Jenny questioned angrily. "Meaning that you should enter the kitchen and cook us dinner." "Please, I don't have that strength. I worked a lot at the shop today. By the way, can't you cook food?" "Jenny, you are mad. It seems like you don't know where you are. You want me to throw you out of this house." "Throw me out of which house? Are you joking?" "Please, I am tired. I don't even know why I am here serving who is supposed to serve me," Jenny said angrily and slammed the door. She sat down on the bed and began to contemplate everything she said. She noticed that she had messed up. She had let the cat out of the bag. How could she? Why? She knew that it wasn't time to react if she must find out about everything. Then she heard someone banging on the door. The sound on the door told her that there's a danger looming around like a black cloud pregnant with rain, an ember about to come alive. She needs to quench the fire, to stop the rain before it even begins. She slowly opened the door and saw John's mother standing in front of the door. There's no atom of joy in the woman's face, no network at all. She fixed a deadly look at Jenny. "What did you tell her?" John's mother asked. "Nothing," Jenny shrugged. The girl stared at Jenny, confused. "You said nothing? What did you tell her just now?" "Ma, I didn't tell her anything. I only told her that I am coming to make dinner." Jenny lied. The woman turned to her daughter. "I thought you said that this pig here said that you were supposed to serve her?" "Yes, Mom, she said so." "Jesus Christ. When did I say that? Who am I to say that?" "Ma, I didn't say anything." Jenny pleaded in defense. "So you are calling my daughter a liar?" "Right." "No, Ma, but I didn't say anything. If not because of the person that recommended you to my son, I would have chased you out of my house, but—" The woman bit her down lip and waved her head sideways. "Go inside and cook food before thunder will scatter that thing you call a mouth," she yelled. Inside the kitchen, Jenny sat on a blue plastic chair, her eyes fixed on the pot of food on top of the fire and her mind miles away. Even with all the money that her father had, she learned how to cook very well. Although they had a cook, but her mother made sure she learned from the cook. You are a woman, and cooking is one of the essential skills that every woman should have, her late mother would always say. Even in the USA, she was the one cooking for everyone. If not because of that kind of training, she wouldn't have adjusted to the kind of life she was facing. She wouldn't have been able to cope with John and his family. Who could have believed that she would be a maid for people living under her roof? But some situations demanded it. The next thing Jenny heard on her cheek was a thunderous slap that temporarily blinded her eyes. She jerked up from her seat, spun around and saw John's mother standing in her front. The woman pointed at the pot of food on top of the fire. Jenny swept her gaze around. At first she didn't understand what the woman was gesturing at, but then she perceived the smell. The burnt smell. The food was burning. She tried to rush towards the pot, but a hand brought her backwards and dashed her another 2 slaps. The woman whipped her like a child, and as she whipped her, she muttered, "You want to burn down my house? What were you thinking? Were you thinking about what you and your children will eat? Or what? With tearful eyes, Jenny lifted her eyes and saw John standing by the side, his two hands thrust in his pocket. He didn't stop his mother. It took only by the grace of God for Jenny not to reveal who she was that night. She knew that the road was tough, hard, but she was ready to do it. She must be a maid if she needed to find the answers she craved for. That night she heard the apprentice saying that they don't know if John was the one that killed their master, that the way he paraded himself inside the market was wearisome. They all mentioned the way he spent money extravagantly, the amount he was paying every member of his family, the amount of money he spent on girls including those he was sponsoring their education. They condemned what his mother did to Jenny. It is not good for poor people to become rich quickly, one of them said. From her room, she could hear everything they were saying inside their own room. Why? Another asked. Because they won't know how to manage it. I know where John and his family lived before. They were very poor. Poor like a church rat. But now everything has changed. Another chimed in. Our master's death had made him and his family kings. I do not blame him. I blame death and its cohort. The first person said again. Bringing John to the company was the highest mistake that our master made. He spent money extravagantly, clubbing with girls every day. Why won't he club? Did he suffer to make the money? Are we not the ones suffering, and he is the one spending? Monkey to work, Babu to shop. All these because he was the one that picked out master's phone first. Mike, but I don't know why you don't want to act. Guy, you are behaving like a woman. See, Guy, don't even mention my name again. I have many things on my mind now. Meanwhile, what exactly do you want me to do? I don't know any of our master's brothers. All his friends said that they can't help me. John had bribed them all, Mike explained inside. As Jenny listened carefully, she felt like going inside their room to get more information. That was exactly the kind of information she needed, but going to their room wasn't possible. John's mother made it clear that she didn't want to see them together, let alone talking to each other. How much more seeing her in their room? That one would be death. She brought out a book and wrote things down. Instead of being angry, she was happy. Jenny, 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 where's that stupid girl? John's youngest sister called, and Jenny rushed inside immediately panting. Yes. The girl furiously landed a slap on Jenny's cheek. You were there answering me, yes. Didn't you hear me when I was calling you, or did something block your ears? Jenny covered her eyes with her palms, her face downcast. The girl used a wave of her palm to direct her on what to do. The soup she was carrying fell down and the plate broke, splashing soup everywhere. Jenny moved her eyes from the soup to the girl and nodded her head. If not because of what she wanted, why would she serve a girl who was supposed to be serving her? But if that was a price to pay in order to find out about all her father's properties, so be it. She took a mop and a bucket of water and began to mop the soup out. As she was doing it, John came out and stood by the side. He didn't care about whatever Jenny was doing. He told Jenny that if he got to the shop before her, he would deal mercilessly with her. Jenny wanted to explain everything to him, to tell him that she had finished preparing for the market before his sister called. But there's no need. She knew that the explanation wouldn't add any difference. She hastened and finished the mopping quickly. Jenny sat alone on her chair with many thoughts hovering over her head. Despite the money they had made on that day, John had refused to give her money for food, just because he came to the market before her. That wasn't the kind of life Jenny had. She had never in her life felt famished. Food was always in abundance for her, but it all stopped the day she stepped into her home, or perhaps John's home. She didn't know what to do again. The suffering was becoming much for her. She was never allowed to have a peace of mind, not at home or in the shop. The day before, her brother had told her to stop the nonsense pretending, or else he would come down to Nigeria to disrupt it. But Jenny pleaded with him to give her more time. She told her brother that she would stop once she found out about everything. But right now it seemed like she had reached the final stage. Starving her was the height of what John could do to her. She saw the three apprentices eating roasted plantain and beans. That was the first food that caught her eyes in the market. She had loved it since she was a teen. She remembered the time when her mum used to buy it for her and her brother. But that was a long, long time ago before she joined her creator. Jenny, eat this food before John comes back. Jenny was startled. She looked up and saw Mike, the Sinor apprentice, standing in front of her with a plate of plantain and beans. "Did you buy this for me?" Jenny asked surprisedly. For over 4 months she joined them. She had never discussed anything with any of them. All their communications end at good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. "How are you?" "And I am fine." It had never passed these. John made it crystal clear that he didn't want any communication between Jenny and those apprentices. And now the Sinor one was giving her food. A whole plate of food. "Eat this food before he comes back." He had gone to a meeting. "Be fast and finish it." Jenny nodded her head and collected the food. She placed it on the table, picked the plastic spoon, scooped the first one, second one, and as she was about to put the third one in her mouth, John bashed inside the shop with a beautiful, tall, fair girl. Instantly, everything around the shop froze. The spoon hung on Jenny's lips and her eyes widened. John let out a derisive laughter and shook his head, while moving slowly towards Jenny. Jenny stood still, contemplating on what to say. It would be better to accept and take all the blame than to involve Mike into it. "Who gave you money for food?" John thundered, moving closer to Jenny. Jenny opened her mouth, but it produced no sounds. She stared agape, confused and perplexed. "I said, who gave you that food?" John snarled and stretched his right palm to give her a slap, but a hand held his palm in the air. "I gave her the food," Mike said with a calm voice, but with an angry face. Slowly John turned his head at the back and his eyes widened. Mike. Mike was the one holding his palm. How dare he? What gave him the right? The impetus? Ah. He shook his head and jerked his palm forcibly from Mike's grasp. "What do you think you did?" He sneered. Mike didn't say anything. He was calm as if he didn't know what he did. "Mike, what exactly did you just do?" he barked again. "I said that I gave her the food," Mike answered with a calm voice. "And that was why you were holding my hand, because of a girl, an ordinary sales girl. It seems like you don't know your boss. You are not my boss, John, and you will never be. Forget that I have been giving you respect. You aren't my boss. So you now talk to me like this because of her," John said, fixing his gaze at Jenny, before darting it towards the beautiful girl that followed him to the shop. Perhaps he had told the girl that he was the owner of the shop. "I didn't do it because of her. I did it because of myself. John, it is high time you stop treating people as if you were the owner of this shop. I came to this shop before you, so stop treating people as if they are not humans." John clapped his hands twice and nodded his head. "I will deal with you that you will crawl on the ground to beg, but I won't forgive you. Let's see who came to the shop first," he said, and went upstairs with the beautiful girl trailing after him. The news of the fight between Mike and John traveled around the whole market. Many people blamed Mike. They said that he couldn't fight for himself, but he was fighting for a girl. Some said that he did that because he was in a relationship with Jenny. Others said that they knew that Mike loved Jenny. But half of the market people said that John was the one at fault. Jenny heard some people talking about it while she was on her way home. Those people said that Mike had completed his service to his master before the untimely death took him. They also narrated how hardworking and resilient he was. One also said that Mike was the brain behind the shop, and that was why John had refused to settle him. Was John in a position to settle an apprentice? Jenny thought inwardly. She continued to listen as they all described how arrogant John was, and the way he used to carry himself like gold. The moonlight bathed the whole compound. One could pick one sand from the ground. It was the kind of time when children in the village moved from one village square to the other, dancing what they called moonlight dance, or perhaps went to the village elders to listen to stories, most especially historical stories. But here in the city, no one had such time. Children were mostly inside their rooms or sitting rooms, watching movies on the televisions or tablets. Mike and Jenny sat down in front of the guest house enjoying the moonlight. It was their first time sitting together ever since Jenny came into the house. Mike was the kind of person that found it very hard to talk. But tonight they had come out to discuss the fight and their punishment. John's mother was furious when John recounted everything that happened in the shop to her. The woman told Mike that his settlement had been shifted to another 1 year, and that he was going to starve him for a good 1 week. Meanwhile, Jenny's punishment was to wash all the toilet and bathroom in the house every day for 1 week. She was to go to bed every day with an empty stomach. Jenny accepted all her punishment in a good faith, but she was so disturbed with everything she heard about Mike. How could he be the brain behind the shop? Yet he was treated like trash? What manner of weakness was that? Ah, Jenny yawned and covered her mouth with her palms. Don't swallow me, Mike said and chuckled. You are not well, Mike, Jenny said with a teasing laughter. Are you hungry? Mike asked, stretching his fingers one after the other. No, I am not. I am just angry. Angry over what exactly? I have told you to forget about everything that happened today. That's how they used to do. Don't allow it to disturb you. That's not even my problem. What's the problem then? Mike, I heard some people saying that your master was supposed to settle you before his death, that you have stayed here for 12 good years. Jenny, please forget that one. I don't like remembering it. All I know is that one day, John will settle me. I served my master with a good heart, but death did me dirty. What happened exactly? Jenny probed. Mike tried to brush the topic aside, but when he found out that Jenny wasn't going to let that topic die, he decided to share his part of the story with Jenny. He told Jenny that his boss was supposed to settle him on the December 2020. That was the year he completed his 9 years of service. He had made all plans for it, but unfortunately death met him at his shop. His boss died during the COVID-19. One also said that Mike was the brain behind the shop, and that was why John had refused to settle him. Was John in a position to settle an apprentice? Jenny thought inwardly. She continued to listen as they all described how arrogant John was, and the way he used to carry himself like gold. The moonlight bathed the whole compound. One could pick one sand from the ground. It was the kind of time when children in the village moved from one village square to the other, dancing what they called moonlight dance, or perhaps went to the village elders to listen to stories, most especially historical stories. But here in the city, no one had such time. Children were mostly inside their rooms or sitting rooms, watching movies on the televisions or tablets. Mike and Jenny sat down in front of the guest house enjoying the moonlight. It was their first time sitting together ever since Jenny came into the house. Mike was the kind of person that found it very hard to talk, but tonight they had come out to discuss the fight and their punishment. John's mother was furious when John recounted everything that happened in the shop to her. The woman told Mike that his settlement had been shifted to another 1 year, and that he was going to starve him for a good 1 week. Meanwhile, Jenny's punishment was to wash all the toilet and bathroom in the house every day for 1 week. She was to go to bed every day with an empty stomach. Jenny accepted all her punishment in a good faith, but she was so disturbed with everything she heard about Mike. How could he be the brain behind the shop? Yet he was treated like trash? What manner of weakness was that? Ah, Jenny yawned and covered her mouth with her palms. Don't swallow me, Mike said and chuckled. You are not well, Mike, Jenny said with a teasing laughter. Are you hungry? Mike asked, stretching his fingers one after the other. No, I am not. I am just angry. Angry over what exactly? I have told you to forget about everything that happened today. That's how they used to do. Don't allow it to disturb you. That's not even my problem. What's the problem then? Mike, I heard some people saying that your master was supposed to settle you before his death, that you have stayed here for 12 good years. Jenny, please forget that one. I don't like remembering it. All I know is that one day, John will settle me. I served my master with a good heart, but death did me dirty. What happened exactly? Jenny probed. Mike tried to brush the topic aside, but when he found out that Jenny wasn't going to let that topic die, he decided to share his part of the story with Jenny. He told Jenny that his boss was supposed to settle him on the December 2020. That was the year he completed his 9 years of service. He had made all plans for it, but unfortunately death met him at his shop. His boss died during the COVID-19. Although there's no kind of illness that showed that the disease killed him, John was employed into the company 2 months before their master's death. But he was the first to notice their master's death. So he took his phone and made calls to his people. And starting from that day, he was the one talking to their master's family members, his children included. During their master's burial, John being the manager of the company, and the one who had been discussing with his family was always at the forefront. He represented everything about the shop. He was the one that had meetings with their boss family members after the burial. No one knew them, or perhaps asked about them. At first, John told him that his settlement would happen the next year, that there wasn't any way he would settle him. Immediately after their master's death, Mike said he understood him perfectly well, but that year came and passed, and John refused to settle him. Each time he talked about the settlement, John would remind him that their master's brothers or children would be coming back to Nigeria to settle him, that it wasn't in his place to settle him. Since then, he hadn't seen their master's brothers or his children. "Do you know them when you see them?" Jenny asked, interrupting Mike. "Know who?" Mike asked with a confused look. "I mean, do you know your master's brothers or his children?" "No, I have never seen them before. You know that our master was a private person. I heard that he sent his 2 children outside the country after his wife's death, and I also heard that they were small when they left. The truth is that I don't know them, and John has refused to give anyone their numbers. He is the only one that has access to them. So why didn't you leave to look for something doing?" "Ah, leave? After 12 years of my hard labor? It is not possible. If I go out now, John will use it as an avenue not to settle me. I will bear all this hardship until our master's brothers or children come back." "When are they coming back? Are you sure they are going to come back again?" "Jenny, you have another point there. I don't know the kind of stupid and foolish children that our master has." "What?" Jenny yelled. She didn't know when it left her mouth. "What is wrong? Why are you screaming?" Mike questioned curiously. He didn't understand why she shouted like someone that touched a live ember. "Nothing. I don't know what happened." Jenny lied. "Please let it not happen again before they come out here. If they see us together here, your name will become sorry." Mike giggled and continued. "You know what our people said? Those that have buttocks don't know how to sit down, while those without buttocks know how to sit down. What an irony of life. This world is full of surprises." "What exactly are you saying? Or are you now talking to yourself?" "See, Jenny, I cry each time I see what John is doing with our master's money. The way he is building houses around Onitsha. Tell me, if our master has reasonable children or brothers, why can't any of them come back to Nigeria to handle his wealth? Our master suffered so much to reach where he was before death took him unexpectedly. Yet his children don't care. They are enjoying themselves outside the country. But I blamed our master for sending them outside the country when they were children." "You meant that John has a house." Jenny concentrated on the important one. "John has houses all around Onitsha. We all know the houses, but he would always pretend that he was building it for our master's son. But we know that it is a lie. White lies. He is building them for himself. See the house we have been managing peacefully. He went out and brought his family inside, and they are here behaving as if the house is their own." Jenny began to think about the whole thing. Firstly, she thought John had settled the Mike. Although he didn't know that Mike was the person, but she had heard her uncles talk about one apprentice that was settled after her father's death. Did it mean that John had been deceiving them all? And what of the houses? He had never told them about any house. She was sure that none of her uncles knew about it. The only thing they were after was the money John paid into their account every month. Mike interrupted Jenny. "What's the problem? What are you thinking?" Jenny jerked off from her self-absorption. "Nothing. Nothing. I am just thinking about the whole thing. He doesn't want to settle you, but he is building houses everywhere. What manner of human being is that?" "My dear, that's why I said that death caused all these things. If not death, why will I be here waiting for John to settle me? John doesn't know anything about our business. If I leave that shop today, everything will fall apart. But I won't leave. I will stay until they give me what belongs to me. Let's pray that they come back and settle you." Jenny said and chuckled. "I pray so. Before John said this year, but you have heard them. It won't be this year again. Mike, let me go to bed. I have to wake up early tomorrow to make food and serve my punishment." Jenny chuckled and left. Jenny stood in the bathroom with a toothpaste in her hand. Her mind whirled like a whirlwind to everything that happened a few days ago. She glanced at the image with the immaculate teeth on the paste and smiled. That had been the way she had been smiling since she started this hide-and-seek relationship with Mike. "Jenny, I love you, but as you can see I am still boy." Mike had told her on that rainy day that they were at the back of the house scrubbing the floors. She had laughed out loud without giving him an answer, but ever since that very day, she saw herself drawn to him, doing things that she never considered herself doing, sneaking out in the middle of the night, when everyone was asleep just to hug him or talk to him, always loving to go to the warehouse just because of him. She didn't just love Mike because he said he loved her. She loved him because of his kind nature. Everything about him was natural and authentic. He didn't possess that kind of pride that some men had. He was plain and transparent like a mirror. He didn't talk much, but when he did, he emptied everything bothering him. Jenny smiled again as she remembered what he said the other night. "If John finds out about us, he will sack you and prolong my settlement." Jenny had laughed like a mad woman. After laughing, she told Mike that she understood him, but John wouldn't find out about them. She swooped low and began to use the foaming sponge to massage her body. Then she began to pour the silver liquid all over her body. Bathroom seemed like the most calm place she could be. Jenny picked up her phone and dialed her brother's number. Her phone was only meant for her brothers and her uncles. No one else had that number, and she made it clear that none of them should call her. It was in her place to call them anytime she wanted them to talk about anything. Now she stared at the ringing phone. "Jennifer, how are you?" "David, I am fine. And you? I hope you are doing well. I hope you are eating well." "Girl, stop acting like mom. You are still my baby sister. I am the one that is supposed to be asking you that. How are you? How are you managing?" "Brothers, I am fine. I just want to tell you that your sister is now in love," Jenny said and began to laugh. "In love with who?" David chuckled. "Who are you in love with? Within these few months? Is it John?" "God forbid. How could you even think about that? I can't be in love with the devil." "Okay, now tell me, who was the lucky man?" "One of the importers in the market. I have heard that they like pretty girls like you. I called you to share something with you, but you have taken over the floor. You know I don't have all the time to make this kind of call." "Sorry, sweetheart. Tell me, who are you in love with?" "Sorry, accepted. I am in love with Mike." "Mike? Who is Mike?" Jenny signed loudly. "The one I told you about the other day. Dad's oldest apprentice. The one that was supposed to be settled the year Dad died." David exhaled slowly. "Now I remember. So of all the men that had been asking for your hand in marriage, this is the one you want? An ordinary apprentice. Is he not a human being? See, stop it. I think I made a mistake sharing this with you. Goodbye." "No, now. I didn't mean to sound that way. I think you deserve better than." "No, I deserve nothing. Mike is better than any other person." "Yes, madam. Your wish is my command. Just tell me when the time comes. You know I will be the one to collect the bride price." "Finally you are coming back to Nigeria by force," Jenny said and chuckled. "If you say it again now, I will change my mind." "Don't change your mind, my father. If you change your mind, who will hand me over to my husband?" "So what's up with John?" David asked with a deep tone. "Nothing much for now. I found out about everything. Soon I will reveal myself to them. I can't wait to see their faces. You won't believe what these people have done to your only sister. You love it. You choose that rubbish life for yourself. Someone is in your house treating you badly, and you are pretending instead of kicking them out of the house." "David, you won't understand," Jenny said calmly. "I know I won't," David said mockingly. "David, bye. I think someone is coming over here. Talk to you some other time." It was exactly around 7 p.m. Jenny and Mike stood at the back of the generator, house chatting. Jenny had just finished making dinner and also serving the dinner. Without having any other work to do, she decided to engage Mike in a discussion. She told Mike about what happened in the shop between John and one of his girlfriends. Mike had gone to the warehouse when it happened. They were so interested in what they were saying, coupled with the noise from the generator house that Jenny didn't hear. John's mother screaming and yelling her name. John's mother sent one of the apprentices to look for her, but they came back to her and reported that they didn't see Jenny. It was then that John's mother angrily came out of the house. She asked the gateman if he had seen Jenny leaving the compound, but the gateman said no. As she was about to turn, she noticed that Mike wasn't around. So they began to search the whole compound. John's mother took the route that leads to the generator house. As she moved closer to the generator house, she sighted their silhouettes and backed away. Then she peeped through again and saw Mike hugging Jenny so tight. She blinked her eyes, wiped her palm on her face, and chewed her lips. Within some seconds, Jenny heard a thunderous slap on her cheek. "Is this the reason why you are here? To get pregnant for this foolish boy?" John's mother snarled and dragged Jenny in her clothes out to the compound. John stood there in the compound with a fearful face and a leather belt on his hand. He asked Jenny to lay on the floor, but Jenny refused. Her refusal made him feel insulted and embarrassed. He spun around and told her to lay on the ground, or else he would deal with her. Right there, and then Jenny made up her mind that the game was over. She would reveal who she was to them and send them out of her father's house. She sighed, clicked her tongue, and said, "If that belt touches my body, I will make you pay dearly for it. Are you really all right? So if I lie down now, you will use your stupid belt to touch my body," Jenny said. Everyone present was surprised by her outburst. She had never stood on her ground like that. Mike stared at her agape. "John, whip her with the belt. Let me see what this pig will do," John's mother said loudly to John. At hearing this, John stretched his belt to wear it on Jenny's body, but another hand held it at the back. "Don't even try it," the owner of the hand holding the belt said calmly. "Again? Mike, are you mad? How dare you?" John barked. "John, I have been keeping quiet, but not again. I won't allow you to treat any of us as if we are less human. What's itself? What's wrong if you see me with Jenny? Are you older than me? Haven't you been making out with ladies in the shop? Or you think we don't know? See, I have allowed you to have your way all the time, but I won't allow you to hit Jenny in front of me," Mike narrated with a louder voice. "You cannot allow me to hit Jenny as what? Who is Jenny to you? She is my life, my love, the woman I will marry." John's mother laughed and clapped her hands. "Marry with which money? Have you seen who is feeding under someone that has a dog? So I will be feeding you, and you will be feeding the dog?" John's mother said and laughed again. "Mom, leave him. Leave this fool. John, don't call me a fool again." Mike's anger had started boiling like hot water. "And if I do that, what will happen? I will show you that I am a man like you. You might have more money than me, but not strength. Try it again, and I will show you why they are calling me Mike." John wiped his palm on his mouth. "I can see that you are prepared, but I will cripple that your wings now." He clocked his eyes with his mother, and his mother gave a nod. "Mike and Jenny, leave my house," he said. "Did you say your house? John, you know this is not your house. I have been living here since before you came." Mike yelled, "You both should leave here before I call the police. If you think this is not my house, don't leave now and see what I will do to you. I will make sure you suffer mercilessly in prison." "John, I am not going anywhere. I won't move an inch until you settle me. I have been keeping quiet, but today one thing must happen tonight. It is either you kill me or I kill you. There won't be anything like settlement for you. You are challenging me because of a woman, right? Tell her to settle you. Leave now before I do something you will regret." John snarled. Mike stood where he was, proving to be stubborn, but Jenny persuaded him to leave. Jenny dragged him out of the compound. "Do you want to end up in prison?" Jenny asked him as they stood in front of the gate. "Jenny, it is better I end up there than leaving that house without anything. I will make sure that John pays for everything he has done," Mike said and tried to go back, but Jenny held him on his waist. "Okay, just because of me, look for a place to sleep tonight. I will see you tomorrow morning." "Where are you going to sleep?" Mike asked Jenny. "I have a friend here on the Upper Awaka side. I will sleep there." "Jenny, I don't want to leave here without sending that boy to the morgue," Mike lamented, his chest moving up and down. "I understand, but go somewhere for now. We will see tomorrow when your temper has come down. Just take care of yourself." "I hope that your friend is a girl?" Mike asked with a serious look. "Worldly man," Jenny said and chuckled. "Do you think that I am going to a man's house? I didn't say so, but our people said that he who asks a question will never miss his or her path. Just take care of yourself." "I will," Jenny said and embraced him tightly. John paced rhythmically around the sitting room, his anger boiling and producing smoke like oil on top of the fire. His face was caked with anger. He hit his palm on his head and blamed himself for not calling the police. "Why did I even allow that stupid boy out of this house like this?" he said. "Don't worry about that. He will still come back. Let's wait for him. Anytime we see him here, we will label him a thief." "Mom, you are right. I know that he has been jealous of me. He doesn't like the fact that I am the one managing this business. He thought they would hand it over to him, but when they didn't, he began to fight me. He can't fight you. Man can't fight who God has blessed, my son. God blessed you and gave you this opportunity. He can die if that's what he wants, but he can't do anything to you. I will deal with Mike. I will deal with him mercilessly so that he will beg for help, but there will be no one to help him. Come and eat and forget about that stupid boy," John's mother said to John and patted his shoulder in order to calm him down. Jenny sat at the luxurious restaurant with a very beautiful short gown, her black spectacles sitting pretty on her face. It was one of the best restaurants around 33 Onitsha. Sitting on the table in front of her were 2 bottles of an expensive wine, 2 bottles of canned water, and 2 glass cups. She dipped her hand inside her bag and brought out her phone. Then she dialed Mike's number. "Jenny, how far? How are you doing?" Mike said the moment he picked the call, as if he was the one that called her. "I am fine, Mike. How are you doing?" "Fine. I am here like the way you left me yesterday." "Ha ha ha," Jenny chuckled. "Can we see now?" "Now? Anything the matter?" Mike asked curiously. "Nothing. I just want to see you." "Okay. Where are you?" "Come to the Golden Restaurant at 33. "Golden Restaurant at 33? Who took you there? What are you doing there?" Mike asked surprisedly. He knew that the restaurant was for the big men and women. It was meant for children born with golden spoons, and not for people like him and Jenny. "Come first." Jenny chuckled. "You said that I should come first." "Yes, come first. I will be waiting for you." Mike went inside the room and changed into another pair of clothes, the one he thought was befitting the restaurant. He couldn't wrap his head around the person that took Jenny to such a luxurious restaurant. He tried to think about it but couldn't. According to his knowledge, based on his discussion with Jenny, she was a poor girl from the village, the daughter of a gardener, and now she was waiting for him in a luxurious restaurant. Could it be that someone else wants to marry her? He shook his head and sighed. Mike stepped inside the restaurant environment. A big tall fence guided the place. He swept his gaze from this side to that side. Numerous cars were packed around the whole compound. He had been there, but that was when his master was alive, when they used to squander money the way they loved. He entered the main place. Many people were there, but Jenny wasn't. He swept his eyes around to know if he could see someone that looked like Jenny, but there's none. All the female there were rich, with spectacle on their eyes. He brought out his phone and dialed Jenny's line. Behold, the phone started ringing on top of the table a few feet away from him. He turned, looked at the phone, and continued to wait for Jenny to pick the call. The person sitting on the table in front of him couldn't be Jenny. Jenny was grinning from ear to ear, enjoying the whole show. A waitress approached Mike and asked him if there's any trouble, but he said no. Mike dialed the line again, and the phone began to ring again. What a coincidence, he thought. What if Jenny had left her phone there to make use of the bathroom? But that wasn't Jenny's phone. Then he decided to ask the person. He gently moved closer to the table and dialed the number again. As the phone began to ring again, he peeped into it and saw his number with a name. "Mike, my love, what is happening?" Mike reasoned. As he was thinking about it, a female hand wrapped him on the waist and whispered, "I am the person you are looking for." He spun around and stared at the gorgeous lady standing in front of him. It was Jenny, but a renewed one. A transformation that froze his body. Another Jenny altogether. Mike stared agape, his eyes widened. He wanted to talk, but what exactly would he say? From where would he start? Jenny gently helped him into his chair and began to laugh at him. "What is it? Why are you acting as if you have seen?" Jenny asked. "Tell me if I am not staring at a ghost now. What's the difference? What happened, Jenny? What's this transformation?" Jenny smiled and popped up one of the wines. She poured for Mike and for herself, and as they began to sip the wine, Jenny told Mike everything about herself. Mike was amazed at the kind of woman he had chosen. As he listened to Jenny, he began to realize how God had answered his prayers, how his patience paid off. Jenny told him about his plans and how she wanted to take everything away from John. She told him that her uncles and her brother knew her plans and they were solidly behind her. Mike, after listening to her plans on how to emasculate John, supported her in all her plans. "This is a perfect plan," Mike said, still surprised with everything happening at once. The next morning, Jenny, Mike and some police officers went to John's place. Mike put on his phone recorder and went inside first. Jenny and the police officers lurked behind the outside wall. The gateman tried to dissuade Mike from going inside. In his words, John would make sure he handed him over to the police. Mike assured him that nothing of such would happen. So he opened the gate and Mike stepped inside with pride. John was coming outside from the big mansion when he sighted Mike and laughed. "Mom, come and see what we have here. You were right. You said that this fool will come back again." John screamed while laughing. His mother came out immediately and stood by his side, wagging her finger at Mike. "Why did you come back here again?" she asked. "To take what belongs to me," Mike replied. Immediately. "You are a joker. What's that belongs to you?" "John, I want you to tell me when my settlement will happen. I want you to call our master's brothers, or his son now, and tell them that. I am demanding for my rights." "Which right is this one talking about? I have told you that there won't be any settlement for you. Didn't you challenge me because of a girl? And I will do it again and again and again." "Fine, fine," John muttered and clapped his palms. "Go ahead and do it, but have it in mind that there won't be any settlement for you. Let me see what you will do." "John, you said there won't be any settlement for me, but you have been stealing our master's money to build different houses in Onitsha. You have been stealing our master's money to carry different girls. And so, what will you do? Go and do your own, let me see. But before you do it, I will make sure you die in the jail first. Watch me and see what I will do," John said, and started to press his phone. Mike chuckled. "John, don't be too fast. Look outside the gate. See the people you are calling. They are already here." John's eyes widened. His mother adjusted a little bit. His two sisters were not around, and the other apprentices had left for the market. "Did you call the police for me?" John asked. "No, she did," Mike said, and pointed at the pretty lady walking behind the officers. With slow motion, Jenny removed the black spectacle on her eyes and stared at them. At first, neither John nor his mother recognized her until she said, "Nice meeting you again, John. My name is Jenny James, the only daughter of James Global." She stretched her hands as if she was demanding for a handshake. John stared at the stretched hand. He couldn't believe it. What a joke. Which James Global? His only daughter was in USA. The only daughter of who? John managed to ask. Gently, Jenny brought her stretched hand down and placed both hands behind her waist. "The only daughter of your master. The one you have been squandering his money." "Jesus Christ!" John's mother screamed, and her two hands went over her head. "Which money? I have never steal any money." John lied. "But you have houses all over the place," Jenny asked. "I do not have any house. I am an ordinary servant." Mike brought out his phone and put on the recorder. Everyone listened to the clip where John admitted that he had houses around Onitsha. "John, every day is for the thief, but one day is for the owner. I think today is for the owner of the business. You and your family treated me like a rag. I allowed you people because I know what I wanted. But today, it is my turn to treat you people the way I want. But I won't do that. The police will do it." John's mother tried to talk, but Jenny stopped her instantly. "I don't want to see you in this house again in the next 1 hour. Pack whatever you have and leave the house before I come back." John stood there like a goat ready to be slaughtered. He knew very well that his cup was full. All his plans failed him. Yet as the police handcuffed him, he still had small hope of survival. A little hope that some of his investment was in a good hand. But what he didn't know was that Mike knew about everything. Mike's family went back to the slum. Where they came from before meeting the money was better than where they found themselves. Jenny and her family decided that there's no need keeping John in the police custody. They took everything from him, the houses, cars, and lands. After that, they set him free. Jenny and Mike got married and began to live a very beautiful life. Jenny's uncles and her brother embraced their wedding occasion. After the wedding, they went to the USA for their honeymoon. Mike felt like he was already in heaven. Jenny's family loved Mike, and Mike's family loved Jenny so much. Mike, having spent so many years in the market, knew everything about the business. He managed the business so well that they had to join many companies again. They registered for so many companies. Every night he would hold Jenny on her waist and whispered, "There's no other angel in heaven except you." "Then we are both angels because I am incomplete without you," Jenny would say. One hot afternoon, John left the shop to pick an Indian man who came to Nigeria to meet some of his customers. He was on his way when he sighted a figure that looked like John. The person was tattered with bushy hair. He slowed down and took a closer look. It was John indeed. Then he would lower his glass and call, "John." John turned around. Mike chuckled. "This life is full of surprises. John, do not break the ladder when you reach at the top, because you will need it when coming down. Have you seen where life has placed us today? I am now the one driving all these cars. There's no harm in doing good." He chuckled again and left. John stared at him for a few seconds, shook his head and wiped the tears on his eyes. "Life is unpredictable," he muttered.